Hello, David Zritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. All right, no Bond 26 news usually means one thing. We start to imagine and conjure up thoughts. Thoughts about who could be the next Bond, who's going to be the next director, what's it going to be called, what's the storyline. But for those of you out there like me that follow the Bond lifestyle and look at all the clothing and accessories and accoutrements, you tend to also think about what Bond could be wearing. What's the next iteration of Bond going to be? And well, I decided to have a little bit of fun, creative fun, speculative fun, and I worked with a few brands that I liked and have liked over the years to really curate a few pieces of if I received the call and I could be the next costume designer for Bond 26, how would I dress them? Now, before we get into the clothing itself, let's talk about the Bond that I would imagine. I pictured in my mind a mid to late 30s James Bond. Never mind the actor's age. They could be 40 but look young. They could in their early 30s but look older. It could be an Aaron Taylor Johnson. It could be a Henry Cavill. Whoever you want to pick in your head, that's the age group I looked at. So when you think about the clothing, what I tried to do is this. I tried to take certain learnings, if you will, from the greats. The Gianni Tamines, the Siderats, the Louise Frogleys, and of course, Lindy Hemming. And I thought, what filter would they put Bond through? The fact that the style should be style. It shouldn't be too fashion forward, maybe a little pips here and there, but it could also be something around the fact that this is a classic look. Clean lines and the colors, the feel, the fact that he's an action star, all these things came into play. And by the way, I'm showing you one right now, right? So I am wearing a blue, actually navy Harrington. Now the navy Harrington, you might have remembered from Quantum of Solace. That movie launched about 1 million of them. Tom Ford made that one. By the way, I'm wearing my wrist roll Quantum of Solace watch in homage to this Harrington. But let me get up really close because this, ladies and gentlemen, is corduroy. This is a dark navy corduroy, and this Harrington is by Sunspel. Now, just to remind you, I am a 42 and a 31-inch waist. This is a size small, but it fits me perfectly. It's got great hand warmer pockets. I actually paired it with a Sea Island cotton Sunspel t-shirt, something very simple here, just that I threw on underneath the Harrington to give it a little bit of zhuzh. But I've got my collars here, but this is really important. I mean, the fact that Sunspel has come out with a navy Harrington, I had to go to them to sort of say, I could see Bond wearing this. I could see him walking through another country or a location, being very comfortable. Would he wear a white t-shirt underneath it? Probably not, but ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I had to make this jacket color pop, and I think this does it in a very nice way, but I might pair it with a white polo. I put a pair of very simple slacks. You, in this day and age, call them trousers or pants, but here we are, slacks. And just to show a very effortless type of look. You could see Bond being cool as a cucumber in this type of an outfit, and Sunspel killed it with this corduroy jacket. I could see this going straight through spring, fall, even on a cool summer night. And even though it's corduroy, it's sort of that slightly mid-weight corduroy. It's not baby cord. It's not wide-wailed cord. It is sort of that traditional cord. There almost seems to be like an interesting shadow weave. So we're going to stay on the world of Sunspel and show you a couple other pieces that I could think would work well for Bond 26. Now, if you're like me, you have a closet full of blue shirts, and your spouse is probably saying to you, did you really need another blue shirt? Well, you may need this one. This is a navy, really dark navy, Sea Island cotton long sleeve polo from Sunspel. You could see how soft and supple this is, almost from a visual standpoint, but Sea Island cotton, it almost squeaks. There is nothing softer or better in my book, but it also happens to be very Fleming and very James Bond. I mean, the color itself is very James Bond, but then you've got that Sea Island feel, comfort, and I love the shape. This is a size small in my frame. It fits perfectly. It's not too tight. It's not too loose. It fits like I would think a traditional stylized Bond in Bond 26 would feel. But what I love about this too is, again, I'm getting myself into the costume designer's head. It also harkens back to Connery, you know, the whole thunderball sneaking through, the long sleeve polos that you see, for example, in Goldfinger, that panther-like slinking move. This would perform very well in action scenes, loving scenes, in scenes where he's just sitting there drinking a latte against the wall. This has so many different purposes. And that's why I call it sort of my Sunspel all-purpose Sea Island cotton polo. Now that's too long for marketing, so I'll just call this kind of the perfect polo top. And of course, you've got to create one for Bond 26. If you saw an image of the new Bond wearing this polo in Bond 26, there would be a stampede to Sunspel's doors. You know you would. But let's look at something maybe a little bit more avant-garde. So now what I've done is I've taken the polo look, cut off the sleeves, but of course I've done something very nostalgic, maybe without you even knowing it. This, if I get up nice and close, you can see, is the Riviera polo. Yes, that Riviera polo that you see in Casino Royale, but it's not in that deep navy that you saw. I'm doing this in a lighter green that Sunspel has in their current season. I'm still tying it with the same chinos, pants, trousers, whatever you want to call them. These are not going to move. But you can see that it sets up a very interesting new type of feel for the new Bond. It's a little bit lighter. It's not the traditional navy, but it still has the traditional cut of the Riviera polo. It's got those high biceps, it's got the great fit, and this is a size small, just so you know. It's got that traditional collar, that wonderful pocket on the chest, and it hits just below the belt, where is exactly how a polo should fit. Should not look like a polo dress, just FYI. I'm loving this. It's incredibly comfortable. And this lattice weaving fabric that the Riviera polos are known for also sort of acts as a foundation in reaffirming that Bond wears clothes that are comfortable. Yes, they need to be highly styled. He's usually playing something else like a playboy or an oil magnate or something like that. He's usually undercover or supposed to be charming, right? Charming. All those things, you can be that in this, but you also can move. I don't know why, am I doing the Ethan Hunt run or am I doing the Daniel Craig run? The Craig, I say. Only you could be the judge. But that's what this does. It's wonderful movement because of this lattice does that, and it's not shrink wrapped on you. This size small fits me just the way I like it, just like I think the new Bond would do, because whether it's Aaron Taylor Johnson or Henry Cavill or some other unknown guy, they're going to be in shape. And this shows off Bond's shape. You need to make Bond look like he is capable, like he's actually been maybe eating and doing the right things from a workout standpoint. This Riviera polo does it, but then it serves it up in this very interesting green. I'm sorry, did I hear a call for green? Well, what if you wanted to pair it up in Bond 26 and combine some very interesting style Bond tropes like knitwear, polo, and keep with the green theme? What am I talking about? Here we have it. So I'm gonna come up close really right from the beginning here, because I need you to see the knit. This is knit. Now, it's gorgeous. This harkens back to a 1950s, 1960s look. Look at this banded bottom. Love the way that hits perfectly. Again, just below the belt line, but that neckline, sorry about the mic, the neckline just finishes this off so well. A little bit lower on the biceps too. I mean, quite a bit lower. Usually it would hit halfway, but now it's going down. A little bit more of a traditional look, but the cut, again, size small. You could see the cut here. I don't hunch anymore. I don't know what that was. It was like bowing or something. But this fits so well, but I can see this. And I know many people are like, please, you can have Bond go anywhere in Bond 26. Don't have him go back to Italy. But can you imagine this in like the Talented Mr. Ripley type of atmosphere, either in France oh my gosh, the French Riviera, the Italian Riviera, all these places. This just smacks of that type of class look. I've paired it. I know, you're like, David, what are you, lazy? No, these are comfortable trousers. What do you want from me? But I paired it with this because it goes so well. It goes so well with the Omega watch. All of this connects together. Bond looks, he needs to look effortless. Like he didn't overly think, like I'm doing right now, about his clothing, but it just kind of came upon him. And that the fact that the clothing is not wearing him, he's wearing the clothing. This knit top does that so well. I've worn this. I didn't just try it on, like pull it out of the box from Sunspel. But when I got this from Sunspel, I wore it, I think like the day of, to work all day long. It was comfortable. It moved with me because it's knit, but it's incredibly soft at the same time, but it's traditional, and it does not look like anything else that's out there. You'd be hard pressed to go to kind of a frugal moment, if you will, even though this already is reasonable, but you'd be hard pressed because it is so unique in nature. And that's one of the things I loved about what Sunspel has done, certainly in their current line. And that conjured up, if I was a costume designer and Eon came to me and said, listen, you know, here are the different brands you can use, I would gravitate to Sunspel. They already have a connection to James Bond. And let's face it, that connection is not unimportant. Now, we're going to stay with the green theme. Stay with me on this because I've got a piece of outerwear that you have to see. It was important for me to connect back to Bond's military roots. Again, if I'm going to take on the imaginary hat of being the costume designer, I want to go back to military foundation and roots, which every Bond has seen in some regards or another, some more subtle than others as well. Like right now I'm wearing a sort of a military grade navy colored, but it's a Sea Island cotton Sunspel shirt. It's got some traditional aspects to it, of course, but I wanted to go one step further. And of course, as you know, what kicked off my channel was the Skyfall peacoat, the Billy Reed peacoat. So there is a brand out there called RELWEN. Now I want to hold this up to you. Obviously this is a size small, but what they do is they take traditional items like a military peacoat and they turn them on the side and they make it a little bit more modern with modern technology as part of it, like a quilted inside that looks almost space agey to keep you really warm, but it is super thin. That's exactly what this is. It's very thin, but it has all the trappings of a padded peacoat, as you can see. And I decided to choose the Bond in Bond 26 to wear it in kind of an olive drab green. But look at that inside. Now there's lots of little pockets to hold phones and pens and your kit, etc. But this also has to be about fit and feel, right? I mean, that's the important things of Bond. So this is a double-breasted peacoat. I'm gonna come back a little bit so you can see it in all its glory. And I'm gonna button this puppy like this. Just kind of gently right now, but look at this silhouette. Now, we'll take a look. Yeah, I popped the collar like a shmoo. You don't have to. You can kind of keep the collar down if you want to keep it even more traditional, but look at the lines on this. I mean, this has practicality. This jacket was designed, this coat was designed to keep you warm. I could see yourself going through New York City or the countryside. It's got the high armholes, as you can see. The range of movement is insane. It's a little crazy, crazy good. It also has a lot of adjustments to make this fit perfectly. You saw this as a size small, but the pockets in here, for example, are hand warmer pockets. Now that comes into play when you're feeling a little cool, but look at the Bondish silhouette. And I talk about silhouette a lot because, again, Bond has to look good doing all the things he's doing in an outfit like this. So as I button this up a little bit more, I won't do that last button, you can see that this has all of the stylings of the great peacoats that you would imagine Bond wearing, but with new technology, flexibility, warmth, and comfort, and it still fits the part. I love that green. I'm still keeping with the green thing. You can't stop me from doing it, but look at the interior of this. with all of the pockets galore and things that you pull behind. It's also incredibly lightweight. You can put it away, pack it away, and there may be one more jacket to show you that I think will round out this Bond 26 journey that I've been on. I know right about now you're getting Spectre vibes just by what I'm wearing, but this is from ORLEBAR Brown. And it's a wonderful piece because to me, this is the blend, the perfect blend maybe of what ORLEBAR Brown does with style, fashion, and a certain amount of athleticism. Now, I'm gonna zip this up because you can see that it's got these wonderful hand warmer pockets again, but this is very different than the last coat. This is a little bit more, I would say, sportsmanship-like, whereas the other one's more, I'm existing, I'm spying, I'm going through, I'm walking through different villages and towns. This one, you could see yourself skiing in. First of all, we'll come up nice and close. This has got that beautiful soft wool. This is entirely padded, and this is a size small to go on my frame, but you can see it's got some of the color combination that you look for with ORLEBAR Brown. This color all around is Night Iris. And the jacket itself is called Wallace. But I could see myself in Solden walking around, taking a look at the mountains in Austria. There's an incredible amount of movement here, but I put this together because all of you with Bond 26 are going to want those little Easter egg nostalgic moments. Having this weave, having the padding, having all of this together, and yet something new, which is this knitting on the side here for extra movement so you could put layers underneath it. That to me smacks of a Bond 26 Easter egg moment. So I had to serve it up when I saw that ORLEBAR Brown was offering this in their current line. And to me, it's one of these outfits that just looks kind of badass. Not just the color, but the sleekness and the form. And to me, that has a lot of relevance when I think about Bond 26, when I conjure these thoughts. Well, here you have it. Just something that I decided to do because it occurred to me that so many of us reflect on story, actor, director when it comes to Bond 26. There's challenges galore out there. So why wouldn't we, as Bond lifestylers, actually speculate and talk about the fashion, the style of what Bond 26 could be before it actually is? Do I think any of these are going to come to a premonition? No. Maybe it's just a simple way on a Saturday for me to think about how I would put together existing items out there in the world of purchases and products that I could see Bond wearing, and therefore I could adopt it into my own style. And that's the important last little bit I'm going to send you off into the world with. Each one of these had to pass the muster of, I think Bond would wear it. But the biggest one, since I'm actually going to be wearing these out in the wild, is, do they align to David Zaritsky's likes? Do I like them? Is it something that I would wear? Is it a bridge too far? Is it too fashion and not enough traditional style? What about the color? What about the feel? What about the way it fits? And if it didn't pass those musters, it wound up on the proverbial sartorial cutting room floor. And there are a few that did. There's quite a few that I received, and I'm like, not only can I not see Bond, I can't see David Zaritsky wearing it. So yeah, both of the characters in my life had to do it. Oh, anyway, I'll leave you to it. Have fun out there. What are some of the brands that you would gravitate to? Some of the items that you would dress the new Bond in? Put in the comments below. That's what comments are for, and I read every single one of them. Have fun with that. In the meantime, this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.